My favorite part about the Beaver Creek Wine and Spirits Festival are just the variety of unique vineyards that we get here in Beaver Creek. We've got a truly unique one, premium port wines out of Portugal, and Brandy Richardson this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat about port wines because most people, it doesn't really come into their vernacular when they're thinking of wines, and especially with premium port vineyards. You're located in Portugal.
That's right. So it's premium port wines, and we are the importer for Symington Family Estates. And so we represent Coburns, Dows, Grahams. Overall, the Symington family owns about a third of the Douro Valley. So they are very big players. Everything is still family owned and operated. So, I mean, they're really, really beautiful wines with an amazing history.
Yeah, and they're just located in such an amazing area of
That's
Portugal,
right.
too.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that true ports do come from Portugal, and it's a very specific area of Portugal. So the wines that we're looking at are stored in Oporto, which is in the northern part of Portugal, and the vines and the vineyards are in the Douro Valley. So the Douro Valley is about 75 miles east of Oporto. So it is a climate that is very hot in the summertime, and the vineyards are very, very terraced.
Yeah.
So everything in the Douro Valley is still hand harvested, and the growing conditions are very extreme. The soil, very schisty granite, so it really stresses the vines for a very small yield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes these almost rare then if it's a small yield.
Well, they are.
Very special wines.
They are. You know,
Yeah.
the production is very, very small. There are only a few families that still participate in growing in the Douro Valley. So, but they're incredibly special and have a great history, and they're also delicious.
So let's go through the two that you brought here. So
Yeah.
we've got kind of two different color variations in both of these ports. So let's
Right.
start with this tawny one.
Well, so whenever you think about the wines, what you're going to see is two different types, basically a ruby port and a tawny port. So ruby ports are a little bit less aged. So with this particular wine, the Dow's late bottle vintage from 2012, you're looking at about 4 years in oak. And whenever they're only in oak for about 4 years, they retain a lot of the fruit and a lot of the freshness. You can get a lot of herbal components on it. You get some eucalyptus. You also get a lot of fresh fruit like dark plum, strawberry, blueberry, just depending on if it's like a Dow's late bottle vintage or something like Graham 6 grapes. Those are going to be your ruby ports. And so you can see that this is very opaque, very dark, so it retains that color. And then over time, you see an average of 20 years. This is a blended port. It's coming from a number of different vintages and different harvests. On average, it's about 20 years. And in terms of what the Symington family does in terms of aging, they always blend up. So the actual blend on this is more like 23 years. But you can see that the color is much lighter. It's more of that mahogany color or, amber.
Yeah.
In other words, tawny. And so you get more caramel characteristics out of it.
And we were just let me know, we were just watching looking at a video of the foot stomping the grapes.
Yes.
So that's really unique.
Right, so the winemaking for port is very unique because they are fortified wines. So just like other grapes, they're harvested off of the vine, like I mentioned, hand harvested, and they are brought into open top fermenters called lagars. And in the beginning, everything was foot trodden. So think
Is
of
that
like
just for fun?
that. Well,
Or like dancing?
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
kind of the Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah.
But that was the way it was done, over 200 years ago. And so actually next year, Graham's 200th anniversary. So that's very exciting for Graham's. But so it started off with foot treading. And then in the 80s, the Symington family created a robotic lagar.
Okay.
And so what happens with a robotic lagar, it is more stainless steel. We can control the temperature of the fermentation. And then we have pistons that have silicone feet that are heated to the temperature of the human body.
It's amazing. So they're still trying to replicate
That's
a
right.
human stomping on it.
That's right. Yeah. So it's a little bit more of a clean process. It's something that we can control a little bit more.
Yeah.
But what you have is that the grapes come in, the sugar's very high, alcohol is down here, and as the fermentation takes place, and the sugar and the alcohol are changing, so the yeast is converting the sugar into alcohol. The sugar remains high, the alcohol is still low when they add brandy to it. So brandy is about 80% alcohol, and it stops the fermentation.
Yeah.
So you have higher sugar, higher alcohol. So what you'll find with the ports is that they're about 20% alcohol typically, and a little bit sweeter. So you're looking at something that's more of a dessert wine.
Yeah. Boy, just a wealth of information, Brandy. Now, are you going to be at the Women in Wine event today?
Unfortunately, I will not.
Okay.
I am not a winemaker.
Okay.
I just represent them. I would love to participate, but I will be at the grand tasting today.
Okay, excellent.
So I'll have other wines in addition to this.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I
Thank you.
appreciate the wealth of information that you have.
Appreciate it.
Check out Brandy tonight at the grand tasting and make sure to taste one of these delicious, amazing port wines.